What's up, guys? Tonight, while I was out and about going to pick up any groceries that I have missing at home and whatever, I had a thought about how I noticed that when it comes to decision making, it is something that only a very, very small group of people, or maybe an independent being, goes about doing it. And honestly, I disagree with that so much because, at least in my case, in my life, I work retail, which means that a major corporation is what's overseeing us. But unfortunately, for the people who are up there, like our management, they cannot possibly claim to have the proper manpower to be monitoring closely each and every single store that they are watching or claiming to be looking after. So I think that in a situation like that, you need to consider the people who are at the, let's call it the lower level, because as much as I hate calling it that, because after all, we're the ones running the show, it would really make sense for us to be consulted when it comes to what should be applied to make our operations better. So, for instance, we have those things that are implemented, and management claims that it's for the betterment of business. And I'm like, how do you know that it's for the betterment of the business when you do not personally see how work gets done around here, and what makes, in this case, our particular store be challenged? So I feel like in a situation like that, if the employees were consulted, we can tell management, hey, this is what we noticed, this is what people want, this is what people are looking for, this is where they want to spend their money and how they want to spend it. So how about if we implement this type of stuff for a little bit, see how it works, and if it doesn't work, then we can either go back to the way that we were doing business or improve our current system. But it's just crazy to me that we are relying on a small group of people or maybe a sole individual for this type of decision making when they are not experiencing for themselves what really happens on the floor, you know? So I think that it also applies to government. These people that are in power are our representatives, and they claim that they are up there to help us out and watch for our needs and take care of us, make sure that we get the proper representation and our, like decision making when it comes to our necessities and stuff. But of course, they're not doing that. They're only taking care of themselves. So, in a situation like that, to keep it fair, it would make sense that the people directly had a say on what kinds of laws get passed. And some people might say, oh, but you already have that power. That's why you communicate with your representatives and this and that. And I'm like, well, guess what? Any letter that I write to them, any call that I make, they can very easily just dismiss it. It doesn't mean that just because they're listening to me, they're considering me. It's like in an interview, in a job interview. Someone can say that they can do the job all they want, but how can you demonstrate to me that that's really what you're made of? It isn't until you get hired and you either make it or fail that we know how much truth there was to what you were claiming. So, anyways, guys, that's just my opinion. And I really feel like if we had a system established that works that way, we would have better chances of just making stuff function better. But I understand why that is not particularly appealing and convenient for in general, because people like to have power. People like to be on the side of the field where you're making the decisions and creating the rules. But it's, I'm just saying, I feel like if we were listened more and not thought of as, oh, you're at the bottom of the hierarchy, so you cannot possibly be making decisions, I feel like a lot of problems would be solved, and maybe people would feel even more motivated to be involved in what they do daily, as opposed to just being like, I cannot wait for my shift to be over, etc., etc. So anyways, you guys, you let me know what you think, how you feel. Do you agree, do you disagree? If you agree, what about what I said makes sense? If you disagree, then what about what I said you disagree with? I'm really eager to hear what you have to say on this one, because maybe I see it very simplistic and it's more complex than I'm considering. But, anyways, guys, you know that I love to hear what you have to say. All right. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you soon.